A lot of investors right now are waiting for the markets to settle before making a move, and that's understandable because the markets have been a bit cautious. But what's interesting is this: while overall activity has slowed down slightly, strong projects are still performing, which tells you one thing: demand has not disappeared, it has been selective. In phases like this, opportunities do exist, but they are not obvious. Some are packaged as opportunities, but they don't really hold up. Others are genuine opportunities, but you only see them if you look at the data properly. And typically, by the time the market feels completely normal, those opportunities are gone. So the real question becomes, can you identify them early and make a calculated decision? Over the past few days, I studied a few developers, a few projects, and curated a few such promising good opportunities by a few developers, which under normal market conditions usually do not exist. Before diving into the details of the project, let me walk you through a framework you as an investor should be following, which is very important, particularly during times like this, because if you choose the wrong product, rather, you would end up losing your capital. There are a few things that you as an investor should not be doing at any cost. Number one, you should not try to find the cheapest product or the best payment plan or the most flexible offer, the highest discount. That is something that you should not chase. Because that's an important aspect, right? But that's secondary. First of all, there are a few things that you need to do before even talking about the discounts. Yeah. So you should not try to find the cheapest, because cheapest is not always the best. There could be many reasons why a developer is coming up with the cheapest or the best payment plan or the lowest price per square foot. Usually your tier A developers, the likes of Emaar, Nakheel, Miras, they don't offer any flexibility. We still haven't seen any flexibility in their payment plans, in their pricing. However, tier 2, tier 3 developers, boutique developers are coming up with a lot of attractive offers, best payment plans, lowest price per square foot. Some are good, some are not necessarily good. Some developers are trying to offer those because they always struggle selling their product even before this whole situation started. Yeah, so you should be very careful. You should not try to chase the cheapest. Point number 2, you should not try to follow the hype. That's also very important. Even during normal market conditions, this framework is valid, but particularly during this time, it's very important. Hype also does not necessarily mean that it's the best project. Hype simply means that particular developer has spent millions and millions of dirhams on marketing. There are some projects out there that are not marketed as certain other projects. However, they hold some pretty strong investment fundamentals. Yeah. So hype is something that you should not be following. Cheapest is something that you should not be following. On the contrary, you should be focusing on the developer. You should understand the history and track record of the developer, what they have delivered. That's one thing that you should be focusing on. Another thing that you should be focusing on is the quality of the product they deliver, because we are in a market where currently the kind of people that are moving in, that are living in Dubai, their expectations are getting higher and higher every single year, right? So if a developer is not delivering a product that meets the expectations of the future demand, you are simply losing. So you should focus on the developer's track record, you should focus on the quality of the product that's being delivered, and then you should focus on the actual performance. What numbers have the past projects of this developer delivered? What is the ROI past investors have made? What is the appreciation, capital gain past investors have made with this project? How liquid is this project? In case if you want to sell beforehand, or in case if you want to sell, or in case if you want to sell at handover, or in case if you want to sell at a later stage, how liquid it is, how profitable it is, how easy it is. This is understood if you do a deep dive analysis into the actual performance of their past projects. These are a few things that you need to be focusing on as an investor. Yeah, because we need to understand one thing: you are not just trying to find another project to invest in, you are trying to find a place to park your capital. That's a very careful decision that you need to make. Yeah, particularly during these times, you probably would be having alternative options. You are choosing between real estate, any other investments, stocks, or where to invest. Yeah, so in that case, in times like this, it's very important to stick to the fundamentals, to focus on the right things and to not focus on the wrong things. In line with this framework, let's get into the details of the project. So the developer that I'm talking about today is a developer called Imtiaz. If you have been following the market for some time, I'm pretty sure you would have come across this name. They have delivered some phenomenally great products across Dubai. They have some of the highest performing numbers in certain areas when it comes to rentals and when it comes to resale. Investors have seen phenomenally great returns in these developers' products who have invested over the 4, 5, 6 years. So what is the track record of Imtiaz? Well, Imtiaz Developments started their own construction, started their own projects around 2016, 2017. However, they have been in construction since 1993 under their company name VICC, and that is the same company that's doing construction right now as well in their projects. So they have done construction work for some of the leading names in Dubai over the past 25-30 years. So they have a very good positive track record of over 3 decades in terms of construction. They are a boutique developer, and when they usually go into an area, there is a strong reason why they pick that area, why they choose that area, and that is the reason why investors have always made money in their projects. Now let's understand a few examples of their performance. And the opportunity that I'm talking about today particularly is located at JVC, a project called Pearl House 4, right? And the only reason why this opportunity even exists, because it has been there for a few weeks now, is because of the current market conditions. Had it been that the market conditions are normal, I don't think this opportunity would have existed for so long, for some time. Yeah, we are talking about a 1-bedroom investment at JVC around the price range of 1.2 to 1.3 million. So there's a few things that we need to understand so that you would really appreciate this as an investment opportunity. First thing, before talking about the numbers of the project, their past performance, let's talk a bit about the location JVC. JVC is a location which in the past has performed phenomenally well. It has some of the best short-term rental figures when it comes to tier 2 locations, apart from Dubai marinas, apart from the downtown. It has some of the highest rental yields when it comes to long-term ROI. It still delivers 8 to 10% of rental ROI when compared to certain other mature locations, right? And yes, it's true that there's so many launches happen in JVC. The number of units, the project density in JVC is probably the highest when you look at the surrounding areas, when you look at Arjan, Motor City, Sports City. So when you look at the surrounding areas around JVC, JVC has the highest number of projects. However, the fact that still it yields the highest ROI means there is a reason why that's happening. The placement of the location, the centrality of the location, the livability, the fact that it has 30 plus parks, the fact that it has a mall, the fact that it's centrally connected, and a few other factors actually pushes the demand in that location. So an investment by a reputable developer in this location is still considered a good investment given that the fundamentals are strong. Now, if you talk about the performance of Imtiaz in this location of their past projects, if you look at Westwood Grande, for example, 1-beds at Westwood Grande are renting at over 100,000, 95 to 110,000 dirhams per year. I'm talking about long term. Yeah, whereas the average of JVC 1-beds is around 75,000. So it's around 30 to 40% higher than what someone would pay for an average 1-bed at JVC. If someone is paying a premium, there's a reason why that happens. You don't just pay a premium while you have so many other options to choose from. It's only because the fundamentals of this project are strong, the developer has a strong track record. That's about the rental ROI. So even if you look at a decent 110,000 dirhams as the rental ROI, the price that we are talking about of this project, it's trading at around 1.3 million. It's still around 8% of a rental ROI that we are looking at. Now, if you talk about a few aspects of particularly the project at discussion today, Pearl House 4, let's look at their standard payment plan. You have to pay 20% down and 40% during construction and 40% at handover. This is the standard payment plan that the developer offers, right? However, the opportunity here is that you only have to pay 35% during construction and 65% you can pay at handover. You can opt to mortgage the 65%, right? Yes, there are so many other developers offering payment plans like this, and adding on to this, This developer is offering a few other discounts as well, which we can discuss on a one-on-one call if you are interested. So what this means is that there are many developers, as I said, offering this kind of offers, 30-70 payment plans, discounts on prices and everything. But not every developer has the pedigree of Imtiaz. They don't have the track record. Even if you look at the starting price for one beds around 1.29, 1.3 million. So you can look at a one bed at somewhere around 1.3, 1.35 million dirhams, which is the price of some of the older ready projects at JVC. For example, there were some recent transactions happened even during March at Westwood Grande, again another project by Imtiaz, handed over in 2024 at 1.35 million, 1.4 million for one beds. So this new project, the price point is in par with existing older projects in the same location. Now what does that mean? The handover of this project is going to be in 3 years, and you are essentially locking your price at today's market value for a similar unit. However, even 3 years down the line, the project is going to be brand new. So definitely the market value 3 years later is going to be high. However, you are locking it at today's price and you are only paying 35% over the next 3 years. So your capital outlay is very less, right? You are getting a few additional discounts and benefits as well. So this is the opportunity that I wanted to elaborate in today's video. There are a few such opportunities that I have curated, leading developers, good offers, which I genuinely believe would make you money. Because what we need to understand is these kind of offers, this kind of flexibility in terms of payment plan, this kind of discounts, these developers are offering because, let's face it, there is a real situation that's going on in the region. It's impacting the real estate market. However, this impact is short-lived. We have seen this in the previous challenging times the country has gone through, and investors, true investors, know that. That is why still some investors are making investors. People are searching for opportunities. I was just talking to the developer earlier today, and I got to know that they have still sold a significant amount of stock, a significant amount of dirhams over the past month, even during the height of the war. Yeah, meaning people are putting their trust in the market. There are investors who could see through what's happening, who believe in the fundamentals, and who are still investing, right? That is what you need to understand as a smart investor. There is opportunity in disguise, particularly in Dubai, where the fundamentals are very strong, where none of the fundamentals have been shaken because of the current situation. It is temporary. So the fundamentals are strong. The market is going to bounce back maximum 6, 7, 8 months, right? Let's say 1 year. Still the project that we are talking about is going to be handed over in 3 years. And this temporary window of you having to pay only 35% until handover, that's going to be over very soon. Let's say 2 or 3 months down the line, investing in a similar project will have to pay 60% during construction, will not be having any additional discounts. However, if you make the choice to go ahead today, you will be having this. That is the opportunity that we are talking about today in today's market, right? So this is again one of the investment cases that are available, and there are many such opportunities. If you are interested, if you want to explore investment opportunities during these times, do get in touch with me. Let's have a chat.